Samantha, that's a great question. Yes, sometimes when you're out on an EVA, like and you're riding the robotic arm, and so when it stops, there's these big motions, and it sometimes can feel like you're going to come off the arm and float away in space, and so you deal with it with training, and that helps you get over it. Over. Hi, Caitlin. Well, if you're riding on a Russian Soyuz, it takes you only about 3 hours, but we're going to be coming home on the SpaceX Crew Dragon, and that's usually about 24 hours from the time we undock until we splash down in the ocean off of the Florida coast. Over. Hey, Zoe, the coolest thing I have seen in space is actually the Earth. It's kind of neat to be able to see it from this vantage point, and when you do, you realize how special a place it is. Over. Caden, that's a great question. It can get awful confusing up here because we go around the Earth 16 times a day, so we have 16 sunrises and sunsets, but we actually tell if it's day or night just by using our watch, and when it's in the morning, we turn on the lights in the space station, and when it's at night, we turn them off. Over. Actually, the space environment is very dangerous, and one of them is a depressurization. That means we start to lose air in the capsule, and if that were to happen, one of the things we can do is we can close the hatches between the different, we call modules, but they're actually rooms, and we can seal off that leak. Over. Yeah, that's an interesting question, Serene. I don't think I've seen anything really frightening up here. You know, one of the things that's interesting is when you look out at the Earth and you see this very thin atmosphere, and you realize how precious it is that's keeping us all alive down on Earth, and that we need to protect it. Over. Well, we are doing lots of experiments up here, over 200, 300 experiments during one increment of about 6 months. So some of those are on us. My crewmate is actually on a special diet. He's eating a lot of fish and vegetables and nuts, and hopefully that's going to help his immune system, because when we're up here, our immune system is what we call compromised, which means we can get sick easier. Over. Isabel, one of the biggest challenges in space is just missing your family. When you're up here, it's very remote, and you don't have a lot of chance to talk to them or see them, and so being away from the family is probably the biggest challenge of space. Over. Hi, well, you really start training to be an astronaut when you're your age. Going to school and studying hard is very important, and all those things you're learning now come into play when you're an astronaut. Once I was picked to be an astronaut, though, I had 2 years of training, basic training, and then once I got assigned to a mission, I had another 2 years. So it took 4 years of training before I was ready to go into space. Over. Hi, Ruby. Well, when your spacecraft docks to the International Space Station, there's this little space between the two that we call the vestibule, and that's that vacuum. And so one of the first things we have to do is put air into there and pressurize it. We equalize the pressure, the air pressure between our capsule, the space station, and this little vestibule. And then once that happens, you can now open the hatches, and you get to come in and give your crewmates a big hug. Over. Yasmin, interesting question, and I have to say, if they have been discovered, they've not told me either. Over. Leah, that is a great question, and part of it depends on how hard you're working. So if you are working really hard and breathing heavy, then you're going to go through your air much quicker. But in general, we can stay outside about 6 to 8 hours. Over. Alpha Bravo 1, Oscar Charlie, it looks like we lost you. If so, thank you to all of the students, and best of luck. This is November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra, signing off. Over. Oh, I do. I just hadn't heard any questions, so I'm ready for the next one. Aaliyah, that depends on how hard you're working, but in general, we can stay outside the space station for about 6 to 8 hours. Over. And Sarah, I didn't hear that last question. Can you repeat?